Our activity for today is a harness base using Solidworks. So first, click the part, click the sketch button and click the top line. Create a rectangle. By the way, change the units into inches or IPS. Create a rectangle with a dimension of 3 and 3.75 respectively. We are going to extrude this rectangle to be a base with a height of 0.38 inches. Please make sure that your figure is fully defined. Next, we are going to create 4 circles on each side, and we are going to fillet every corners of this figure. So first, let's use the fillet button. Click the sides and click the first option of it. It means that all 4 corners will be in fillet with a radius of 0.5 inches. Then click the top face of the figure and click the go to normal. Then click the sketch button and create a circle where its center will be the center of the fillet. After that, we are going to fully define this figure by selecting the 4 circles and adding another relation which is equal. Also, we are going to modify its dimension, which would be a diameter of 0.38. Next, we are going to extrude these 4 circles by clicking the button Extruded Cut and selecting the 4 circles. Then we are going to change its the direction into through all, and that's it. So for better display, we're going to select this button, okay? So we can clearly see what was being cut from the figure. Okay, since we have finished the base part, we're going to move with the next one. So first, click the right plane and start creating a line on this side. We're going to create a vertical line and another diagonal line. So to fully define this figure, first select the horizontal line and modify its dimension to 2.26. Next, the diagonal line must have a length of 2.38. Also, we are going to identify the angle of the diagonal line from the vertical line, and that would be 90 plus 30, which is 120 degrees. Okay, as you can see, our figure is already fully defined. Next, we are going to create this inclined plane. Click the reference geometry, click the plane button, and select the right plane as its first reference, then this line as its second reference, and that's it. So next, we are going to use this plane as the base of our next figure. So we are going to create a center rectangle. We'll be having a dimension of 2.38 and 1.88. So we're just going to hide this plane. Next, please make sure that the rectangle is coincident with our vertical line. If not, select these 2 intersections and select these 2 midpoints and click the coincident. After that, we are going to extrude this inclined plane. Select the inclined plane and select the extruded base. Either its direction must be upward and it must have a thickness of 0.31. Then we are going to create this inclined plane with rounded corners. To do that, we are going to select the fillet button, click this edge, and click again the first option, which means selecting all the edges. Then we are going to change its radius to 0.31 inches. Okay, that's it. Then we're going to move on with the next one, which is creating another circles using the corners of each rectangle as its center. So to do that, click the rectangle button and click the center of the line. And let's modify its dimension. This side must have a length of 2 times 0.87 inches, while this side must have a dimension of 2 times 0.63. Okay, then let's move on with creating the 4 circles through the corners of this rectangle. After that, we are going to select these circles and add a relation which is equal. Also, we are going to modify its radius, and its radius must be 0.31. And now we are going again to select these 4 circles and extrude it. We are going to select the top plane of the base, and we are going to create a center rectangle to it. Just click the center and click the edge of the rectangle. After that, we are going to modify its dimension, and it must have a width of 0.31. Then click the front plane and click the last sketch that you have created, and for me it would be the sketch 11. After that, we are going to create a line which connects the 2 rectangles. Okay, so the end point of this line must connect with the center of the rectangle that you have last created, and it must be also connected to the inclined plane, and if not, please select the end point of the line and the base of the rectangle and add relation which is pierced. So next, we are going to create a rectangle at the back part of the inclined plane. So to do that, we are going to use the 3-point rectangle, and it must be collinear with the 2 ends of the rectangle. After that, we are going to modify the dimension or the width of this rectangle. It must be 0.31 in width. So now to fully define the figure, we are going to select the midpoint of the rectangle and the vertical line, and it must be coincident with each other. Now we are going to create a 3D figure using the 2 rectangles that we have created. So to do that, we are going to exit the sketch, click the lofted base, and then click these 2 rectangles as profiles, while the line would be the guide curves. Okay, so we're going to move with the next one. So click this vertical line and then click the rib button. Then we are going to change its dimension to 0.31. Okay, the next we are going to move on with the circle on this side of the figure. Okay, click the circle button and create two circles on this side. The small circle will have a dimension of 0.5, while the bigger circle would have a dimension of 0.75. Select the two circles and we're going to identify its relation to concentric. Okay, next. We'll be having a vertical distance from the center of the circle up to the top base, which is 1.38, while the distance at the center of the figure up to the center of the circle is 0.5. Click the center of the circle and the top of the base, and it must have a dimension of 1.38. Next, click again the center of the circle and the center of the figure, and it must have a dimension of 0.5. Okay, next, we are going to extrude the big circle. So to do that, click the extruded base button and click the big circle, and then we are going to modify its dimension to 0.59, and for the other side we are going to modify its length to 0.79. Okay, next. So next one, we are going to cut the small circle. So to do that, click the extruded cut and identify the direction to through all on both sides, and then select the small circle as selected contour. So we'll now move on to the last part. Select this figure and click curve to normal. Then we are going to create a rectangle on this side, where one side of the rectangle is collinear with the bottom of the base. So to modify the dimension of the rectangle, so its thickness must be 0.06, while its base must be twice of 1.13. So to fully define this rectangle, we are going to click the center of the bottom of the rectangle and click the center of the figure, and these two must be coincident with each other. So we are going to extrude this figure. So click the extrude cut and click through all. And that's it. Our harness base is already complete. That's all, and thank you.